everyone, it's Jacqueline. Today's video is going to be a little different because I have videos that are about emotions and everything, but I've never gone like personal where I tell you my stories or my personal experience. Maybe like briefly, but I haven't like told you exactly what I've been through. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, I'm not gonna share everything. I'm only gonna share bits and pieces of my experiences because I'm just not ready to tell everything, and this is the internet, so I'm just not comfortable with saying everything, but maybe in the future I'll go more in depth about it. So let's start from the beginning. When I was little, I was pretty quiet in my class. I would actually get in trouble for not talking in class. My teacher would ask me a question and I wouldn't respond, and she'd get mad at me and tell me that if I don't talk, then she's gonna take me to my brother's classroom. That is where I had timeout for not talking. So yeah, that gives you an idea of how shy I was when I was little. And this was just socially. Like socially I was shy, but if I was really close to you, then I was really loud, I was really goofy. My best friend was Ashley, and we did the silliest things together. We always laughed. She always made me feel comfortable and she never judged me. So yeah, she kind of helped me get out of my shell. We kind of balanced each other out. And then during elementary school, I was just your average classmate that would talk here and there. Like, I wasn't super outgoing, but I wasn't super shy like before anymore. I was just normal, whatever normal is. And then high school came, and I was pretty shy in high school. One of the first videos I did on YouTube was how to be confident. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. But I talked about how I was pretty insecure during like the end of middle school and the beginning of high school. I just didn't like my arms, I didn't like my stomach, I didn't like anything about my body, so I would just wear a bunch of sweatshirts and anything possible to cover my body. And I'm not trying to be dramatic because I wasn't super insecure about my body. I just wasn't comfortable with it. Like, I didn't look in the mirror and think I was ugly. I just looked in the mirror and I was like, like I felt okay about my body. I don't know how to explain it, but. And then sophomore year of high school came, and this is when everybody was having their sweet 16s or maybe quinceañeras, I don't know. And everybody was starting to become more social. Everybody was going to parties. And I didn't do any of that because I wasn't a loud person. I'm just like, it's just as simple as that. I just wasn't a loud person. I wasn't as outgoing as everybody else, so I just never went to them. But the more people talked about these things, the more I felt anxious about it. Like, I felt weird for not wanting to go out, or I felt out of the crowd if I didn't go to a football game. I just didn't feel like I fit into society because everybody was socializing all the time. And I'm not saying everyone, I know there was people that just stayed at home and watched Netflix or whatever, but this is how I felt. I felt like I was different from everybody. So this is where the anxiety started. I would try to go to a football game, but I felt so left out that I would start having trouble like breathing. I felt so pressured to talk to people around me that it just became too much for me to handle, and I had to remove myself from the situation because I wasn't able to think or talk or pretty much do anything. And then to sum it up, it was like that all the time, but getting worse and worse. So I started getting anxiety attacks. Anytime I got a text of like wanting to hang out with friends, I would start crying in my room because I knew that I wouldn't be able to handle it, or I knew I wouldn't be able to fit in. Junior year of high school came around and it got so bad. It was at its peak. It was no longer going out that scared me. It was just the fact that I had to be around people scared me. And I know people make jokes like, oh, I don't like people, or like, oh, I don't want to go there, there's too many people. But like, literally, I couldn't handle being in a classroom. Like, I couldn't handle being in a room of like 30 people. And I have to go to school 5 days a week, so I would go to class and I would, like, you know when you're about to cry and you have like that ball in your throat? That's pretty much what I had when I would go to class. I would have to hold in whatever I was feeling. I had to hold in my anxiety attacks because I didn't want to cry in the middle of class. I was just anxious like 24/7, and I tried not to talk to anyone because the more I talk to someone, then the more my anxiety goes up. And then during the breaks, I would just like walk around the school because it helped with my anxiety. I tried not to go in the lunch area because that's where everybody was at. I tried to go outside where the trees were, just anywhere where where there weren't people. And then it got worse. I couldn't hold in my cries. I had to leave the classroom, cry in the bathroom, and then maybe come back. But if I couldn't handle coming back, then I would go to a teacher or something. This is when I was recommended to go to the school therapist. So anytime I needed to cry, I just kind of went to the school therapist and they would just let me chill in the office. It sounds really nice to be able to just leave your classroom and take a breather, but it was not nice. Like, I hated leaving the classroom because I needed to cry. I hated missing class, and I hated the feeling that I had every day. It was not a good feeling. It's not something that you should glamorize, like having anxiety, and you know, it wasn't a luxury for me to have the option to leave classroom. If anything, that was not a luxury. It was something that I couldn't control. I had to leave. So yeah, because of my anxiety, I couldn't go anywhere. I was missing class all the time. I was falling behind on assignments and I couldn't make any friends. My whole life was controlled by my anxiety and I hated it a lot. I would have about maybe 2 to 3 anxiety attacks a day, and then I decided that it was really bad. I had to start going to an actual therapist, someone that could focus on me. So yeah, I went to therapy for a couple months. I don't know how long I went to therapy, and it was really good at first, but after a while I just didn't want to go anymore, and I'll make a video on that, how my experience in therapy. But anyway, we're just gonna skip that because I want to do a whole video on that. And I think the worst part about my anxiety, because this came from the root, was that I felt alone. Like, I felt like I was an outsider. Like I said, I felt like nobody understood what my anxiety was. If I did open up to someone, I would tell them how I felt, and then they would be like, oh my gosh, once you're there, you'll have a good time. Like, just don't think about it. Just do it and like, you'll be fine. That kind of got me a little frustrated. And that's the part that sucks, because mentally I might be okay, like I might be having the best day, but physically my heart is beating, there's a ball in my throat, my eyes are tearing up, I can't breathe. Like, it's all just physical, and I didn't know how to explain that to someone. Like, no, it's not something that I can control so easily. It's just something that happens, and it really sucked, but I learned a lot throughout me having anxiety, and I was able to get over it, and I was better my senior year of high school, and now I'm in college, and I can assure you that I have no more anxiety, like no more. And I have a really boring life. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, I don't have anxiety, I can go to parties, I still don't go to parties, but my point is that I can go to school and I won't cry. Like, to me, that's a blessing. I can go to my grandma's house without feeling the need to take a break because I feel my anxiety coming in. Like, that to me is amazing, because that's all I ever wanted. I wanted to live life without anxiety, because anxiety is annoying. It's really nice to be able to do all those things without anxiety being in the way. But yeah, that's my anxiety story. Again, I didn't put any details in there. It might have seemed like I went a little deep in there, but I could go deeper, but then that would be a really long video, so we're not doing that. To put a disclaimer on this, I didn't make this video for pity. I didn't make this video to brag about how I don't have anxiety anymore. None of that. The reason why I did this video is because when I did have anxiety, I felt alone, and I've learned that there's a lot of people that go through these kind of things, but they're really good at hiding it. That's why it's important for me to make this kind of video, because this is me opening up, and this will make a lot of people realize, oh my gosh, I'm not alone, you know? Like, Jacqueline was going through this, and this means that I'm not too far from normal, and that we can get through it. Like, whatever you're going through, you can get through it. I don't want to be cheesy, but it's true. So I actually have ideas on my phone about what videos I want to do surrounding this topic. So like I said, I wanted to make another video on what is therapy like from my experience, and then another video I wanted to do was how I got rid of my anxiety, because as you can tell, I just told you that I got over it. I didn't explain how I got over it. So yeah, I'll see you in my next video.
You take your time, there's something about the love of things you like.